the deserter accidentally stumbled into the widow's room. Unfortunately, the woman was still a charming beauty. Seeing her panicked expression, the man pulled out his pistol, but he turned the gun on himself and motioned for the woman to take it. However, the woman refused his offer, because in those war-torn times, weapons had destroyed women's families. After giving the man some simple food, the woman took him to the warehouse to rest, and let him change into her late husband's clothes. Then she turned and went back to her room, but they were only separated by a window. Watching the man put on her husband's clothes, her thoughts of her late husband flooded her mind. She tiptoed into the man's room, hoping he would accompany her for the night, but she begged him not to go any further, only hoping to spend this difficult night peacefully in his warm embrace. And so, the strangers lay in the same bed. His warm body gave the woman a sense of security, as if her deceased husband had returned. The pent-up longing caused her to completely break down. She could not suppress her grief and wept bitterly. The man slowly clasped the woman's hand, hoping to offer her some comfort. But in this era of war and chaos, where could she find a peaceful corner to rest? They spent the night in peace. The next morning, the woman discovered that soldiers hunting for deserters had arrived at the door. She quickly woke up the sleeping Mac, and had him escape through the window in a hurry. Although Mike wasn't caught, the cruelty of war had already numbed the soldiers. To obtain insignificant supplies, they brutally dragged the woman out of the house, forcing her to watch her child freeze to death. The woman had no choice but to hand over the grain, but they didn't spare her. Instead, they greedily dragged her into the room. However, Mike had already sneaked back into the house. His comrades saw no movement inside the house, so one soldier prepared to go in. But as soon as he entered the house, they were all subdued by Mike. At the same time, the enemy outside the door still had a conscience. He rewrapped the child, and it was precisely this action that moved Mike's compassion. He forced the man to take off his clothes. Mike had intended to spare him, but the soldier hadn't run far before he was killed by the enraged woman. Under the shadow of this war, humanity was like a flickering candle, gradually swallowed by darkness. The man once again embarked on his journey home, for the only light in his heart was the beloved waiting for him in his hometown.